This is Ludwig of Bavaria. This is Cheech and Chong, the Americans who like cannabis. I've been asked to come all the way from Munich to give you a speech. I haven't been to the south of France this year. I heard there was an outbreak of measles and I didn't want to go. People want to know about machine elves, the ones that they see when they take psychedelics. You must be insane to take psychedelics. No one would ever want to take these things. They transport you out of your reality on planet Earth and they bring you to somebody's spaceship or something. Ludwig has decided that he doesn't want to come in, so I'm going to have to be the stand-in for Ludwig. I'm terribly sorry. He's too busy with the Julian Assange incident to actually be a real whistleblower. He's decided that he's going to hide in his castle in the Alps. How does things work when you have multiple personality disorder? Well, any good actor has got multiple personalities. You take on a character and you play the character. It's only if you've got insane people that think that you're sick for being an actor that they diagnose you as being multiple personality disorder and throw you in. I don't think they put you in institutions anymore. I think they just give you a prescription for $5,000 a month on multiple Rockefeller big pharmaceuticals to treat your multiple personality disorder. I was not going to talk about the useless tokens that people use called money because I've talked about it ad nauseum. It just drives me bonkers to think that modern manufacturing can make all kinds of goodies for humans to use, and if you wanted your own helicopter, your own plane, if you all wanted Lamborghinis, it's certainly possible on planet Earth for everyone to have anything that they want. You know, maybe you just want to have it in sort of a motor pool and just go and check it out when you want to use it, because maybe you don't want to drive the Lamborghini today. Maybe tomorrow you want to drive a Jeep or something. You don't want to take the helicopter today, and you want to take a train ride. I mean, there's all kinds of things, but people talk about lack. Lack. I mean, you're in lack. Yes, humans on this planet are totally in lack because of tokens that we use to exchange. And if you can't earn enough tokens, then you can't get what you want. So you're in lack. Governments, austerity budgets, in other words, cutbacks. It's all because of tokens. If you think you've got the workforce and you've got the needs, and well, the economics of it all are that it's all based on this stupid tokens. And government cutbacks are because they're taking out loans to pay certain people huge salaries and other people minuscule, unable to feed themselves salaries, which doesn't make any sense in a sense of justice. But, the province, I live in Canada, the province pays $450,000 for a psychiatrist to prescribe stupid pills, or, well, barely above minimum wage for someone who has to physically deal with old people in an old nursing home. How's it fair? It's not fair. And why is it that we can't all have Lamborghinis? Well, we could. It's just that the price of Lamborghinis is so extraordinarily high. And people will say, well, there's only one Lamborghini factory. You could build more factories. If people really wanted Lamborghinis, you could build plenty of factories. And everyone knows that they're robot operated for the most part. So it's not like lack is it's built into the system. It's built into the system. And even when you go to buy a car, you can get the base model that doesn't have cruise control. Um, in modern day society, when you're paying $20,000 but it doesn't come with cruise control because it's the base model, it's built in by the people who run the car companies, because they want to charge you another $10,000 so that you can get cruise control and a backup camera. Well, I guess maybe most of them have backup cameras now, but the last car that I was part of the purchase of, that's what it was like. And the car salesman didn't even point out, oh, by the way, this base model doesn't have cruise control. It wasn't until the next trip down the highway, oh, this one, the previous one did. The previous one had a digital thermostat that would tell you, what the temperature is outside the car. The new one didn't. How much does it cost for a digital thermostat sensor? Nothing. But it wasn't included. This is the way it is, folks. It is planned. It is planned by what do you want to call these people? It is planned by these people who decide what's going to be given to the consumer market. It's not based on kindness. It's based upon tokens. How many tokens have you got to spend? It's wrong. It's in 2019 to think that this is the way that this planet is run. It boggles the mind. It boggles the mind that this is the height of stupidity and we're stuck with it. Now, the biggest question is, how do you change it? Well, I talk about it all the time. We have to move to spiritual economics, the gift economy, where if you have a need, the need is fulfilled by a gift. Some people say, well, no, it's never been tried this way. Because in past centuries, they didn't have these kind of factories that can produce things by automation, by robots. They didn't have it. I remember when the computer was introduced, it shows you how old I am, it was going to be a labor-saving device so that we wouldn't have to work as many hours as we do. It was going to take on the labor of humans, the tedious labor especially, accounting, etc., and free up humans, and then humans were going to be able to go and have more leisure time. Well, that hasn't happened. Humans, the working people, work more, for less, and then when they do have leisure time, the prices of leisure items have skyrocketed. Whether you want to go to a ski resort or a cruise ship, a bowling alley, I suppose, everything costs way more. So everything, it's the ultimate dystopia. They used to write these dystopian novels as a joke, and they say this is like, the worst case scenario is a dystopia, and they'd write these novels, and everyone would read them and go, oh, that's horrible. And yet, that's where we've ended up. We've ended up in the ultimate dystopia. A dystopia is the opposite of a utopia. And when I bring this up with my friends, I always get the answer, well, no one would do the dirty jobs unless they were paid well. Well, a lot of the dirty jobs are dirty because we're using old technologies. Very old technologies that require people to do dirty things. Like, you have to hire a plumber to go and fix your backed up sewer. Well, if the backup sewer was properly done, properly engineered, it would have had check valves on it that would have prevented the backflow of sewage into your house. So a lot of maybe there are some things that, I don't know, there was a hurricane or something and the Mississippi River overflew the banks of the levee to New Orleans or something. But, for average everyday things, engineering is far more advanced than what we have in most of our homes. Most of our homes are very old, ancient, and even the home I'm in today was built in the early 1960s, and we always say it never has enough electrical plugs for modern conveniences. They never foresaw that we would need more electricity. And then, I was reading today lots of complaints about people who have very little money that the cost of electricity is so high to heat their homes in wintertime. It becomes a big item when you're looking to rent a place, if whether the heat's included or not, and if it's electric heat, people shy away because electric heat is way more expensive than natural gas. But here in Canada, because the environmentalists have decided that little tiny Canada of 30 million people is a major polluter on planet Earth because we live in the northern climate and we have to heat our homes and have to have fossil fuel to drive around or vast distances. So we're going to penalize ourselves by putting carbon taxes on natural gas that we have to heat our homes. Now the idea is that you'll use less gas, or I suppose the bigger idea is that you're going to switch to renewable power. Well, the renewable power in a lot of Canada is generated by hydroelectricity, in other words, water courses. But electricity is more expensive than the natural gas. So you have to really raise the carbon tax very high to get people off natural gas to go to expensive hydro that no one can afford based upon the fact that the wages are so low. Now today on the local news, the Chamber of Commerce spokesman said they were very pleased that the Ontario government has decided to ask the federal government to allow more immigrants to come in to be what are known as personal support workers, or the job that I do in nursing homes, which is basically all the physical labor to help the people in the nursing home go about their activities of daily life. This is a shitty solution to bring in more immigrants to do my job at the wage that I'm working at, because I cannot afford to live in my town on the wages I'm paid. Now, if we were going back to classical economics, if you cannot get people to do my job, enough people to do my job at my wage, you raise the wage. But that's not what happens in Canada. In Canada, the wages never go up. What happens is more and more immigrants are brought in from overseas, and they are promised the world to come to Canada. You've got a job and we'll set you up. And what happens is when they get here, well, it's a huge shock to the system, because they find that the job is there, working at the donut shop or the coffee shop, or as a PSW, working for minimum wage or slightly above minimum wage, and then you find out, oh, by the way, you can't afford to rent an apartment. You can't afford to pay the utility bills. You can't afford to have a car. The bus service is so infrequent and doesn't go where you need to go that it takes you half a day to go and get groceries. And this is what you find. So this solution is because corporations do not want to pay people based upon classical economics, even though they're the ones that are always propagating the idea of supply and demand. It doesn't work because they've got the final say. They never raise the wages. They bring in more and more immigrants to work immigrant jobs. In other words, minimum wage jobs that the people who are already in Canada don't want to work at because they can't afford to live on that wage. They have broken economics. Well, I don't know what else to tell you. This is the state of affairs in Canada, and the United States, I imagine, is the same. It is a broken system, and it's all because of the refusal to change away from the capitalist model to run planet Earth. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. And to have a revolution, we need a revolution, yes. What kind of a revolution? It's basically got to be, how's it going to happen? Am I going to go out in the front street and bang pots and pans up and down and say I've had enough? There's nobody on my front street that's going to pay attention to me. If I go to City Hall, it's the same thing. The only way I can get you to believe in this is for you to watch the video. And when I look at the numbers of people that look at my videos, it's so small in an enormous planet, it makes no difference. So I guess we're screwed, kids. Thanks for watching.